2018 is coming to an end, and let's take a look at what we can expect in the world of technology for 2019. Now let's start with everyone's favorite marketing word, artificial intelligence and machine learning. We've heard a lot of that and how it's come to all our phones and how it's a part of everything that we do now. But Nandu, what do you see for AI and ML in 2019?
I think AI and ML will not be seen. That will be the biggest thing in 2019 because it's going to be all pervasive. It's going to be across everything you do. It's been this year, but it's going to take you to the next level in the coming year. For instance, like I guess all Android cameras is going to have the AI element in it, and that's going to be something Google will push as a core update. Because the Google camera, the Google lens will be the base for every Android camera, which also means Google will see what you're seeing.
Yeah, and they'll keep a track of what you're seeing, what you're searching for on the internet. In fact, they want you to use your camera to search for things. And we've also seen that most smartphone companies have embedded AI in some way or the other on their cameras, where say if you point your camera to a bunch of flowers, it'll note that this is a flower, that you're trying to take a picture of a flower, and it'll adjust the settings accordingly.
And almost every dual camera is actually using AI to patch
those two pictures.
To patch the two pictures and give you a certain kind of feel. And that AI is different for everyone, but it is actually AI at work. And also you will see AI coming into more devices, not just smartphones. It's already the Google Assistant, for instance, is available on a variety of headphones. It might pretty much become standard because the technology itself is so cheap and Google wants everybody to use it at the end of the day. So it's going to come into everything. You will see maybe a Google Assistant button in your car. You might see an Alexa button in your car. So all of this is going to be there. Alexa, we know, is already coming into cars. You will see everything, like speakers are already on AI. And also understand the fact that between last year and this year, the way AI and ML works, it's become more intelligent because it's been listening to billions of people talking over the year. So it's become way more intelligent. It knows much more. The next phase is that it's going to tell you stuff even before you ask for something.
So let's also talk about how that will impact a bit of privacy, because that's also going to be a question.
Privacy is going to be a huge issue, and the fact that a lot of people don't even understand there is a privacy issue here is the big issue. Right? Like, see, technically it's hearing everything you are saying, So are you sure that the predictive analysis is happening only because it knows your pattern, or is it because it overheard you saying that, no, you've run out of coffee, for instance, right? And it's automatically placing an order through Alexa.
Yeah, and we've had those incidents where, Alexa has accidentally sent text messages to people and freaked out people. And I don't think that in India we're quite there in terms of regulation of how companies are using all this data, which AI and driven models.
So these questions I think will be asked more in 2019 because see, Echo Dot, for instance, is so cheap that I think hundreds and thousands of people are buying it. And it's become it's going to be one of the most sold products I think in 2019, which means artificial intelligence driven smart speakers are going to be in millions of Indian homes, right? So we don't know what is the impact of these things happening in scale in India. So maybe by the end of next year we'll be talking about these things more.
So let's now talk about the other thing that we've heard quite a bit of, and that's 5G. We've been hearing in fact about 5G for quite a while now, but we know that in 2019 companies are going to launch phones that are 5G ready. Samsung is definitely going to do that. The S10 Plus is supposed to be getting a 5G variant. Other players like Huawei have also announced plans. Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, all these players will be joining the 5G list. Qualcomm already has now a 5G ready processor, which is going to come in 2019. Apple's 5G phones might only be coming in 2020. Nandu, what do you think of this 5G trend? Because a lot has been said, but we don't quite know what are we supposed to expect.
It is the next generation, but don't expect much from it. See, we are in a country where 4G is still being rolled out, and it's not a great experience yet, right? So we can't really be talking about 5G in India, I think, till about 2020 or end of 2020. So, but what does this 5G devices? What does 5G mean for you? 5G is not going to make you, enjoy a video faster, right? It's not going to help you make a call faster. It will take you that much time. But what it's going to do is it's going to bring in richer experiences. So you can have an 8K video download to your phone and play from your phone as the primary source to a larger screen. You could watch a cricket match in holography, wearing a VR lens. It was streamed live onto your phone. because it might not happen through broadband. It will happen primarily through phone, and that is the kind of experiences we're talking about. In India, I think we are still 3-4 years away from that. So basically a 5G ready device is, these are devices that are capable of doing this. Whether they can do it in 2019 remains to be seen, because the 5G network rollout is still far away. And 5G is not purely about the smartphone or about mobile connectivity. It's about IoT. It's about enabling billions of devices to be connected to the network all the time. The fail-proof kind of network, especially what you need if you need to run a car by wire, right? You cannot fail for even a second. If you fail for even a second, the car becomes intelligent to dump in a second and it hits someone. So that is where 5G is going to help you, is to give you fail-safe or fail-proof technology connectivity.
Yeah, and 5G is also about low latency, using a completely different spectrum, and making sure that it's about the network handling so many devices, because IoT is supposed to be the next big thing, although that has been the next big thing for quite a while now. But we're seeing more and more products which are going to be smarter, which will have
or
Amazon, for instance, had a microwave oven which is now connected to Alexa.
Samsung has a fridge. You have a lot of things. You have a lot of bulbs you can buy at very affordable rates in India right now, which connect to the Wi-Fi in a second.
And so 5G is supposed to actually handle all that load that is going to be there on the network. How it pans out in 2019 will be interesting to see. India, of course, is not getting it till 2022. In fact, TRAI has said that trials will only start in 2022, which means we're going to be like at least 4 years.
3-4 years behind. 3-4 years behind. And by then, maybe some other technology is going to come and we might just leapfrog into 6G instead of 5G. And that's how it works in India usually. The other interesting trend with connectivity is going to be broadband. People are not talking about it. So you saw Jio sort of change the landscape by bringing in affordable 4G. I think Jio Fiber is going to do that with broadband in India. You're going to get broadband for free, which means you're going to get tons of content for free. It's going to be the full package. But don't expect that all of India is going to convert to Jio Fiber. It will also be because competitors like Airtel are going to cut their prices and offer maybe the same or even better at a better price. So the consumer is going to win when it comes to broadband, but you will see a broadband revolution happening in India in 2019 with at least millions of urban homes going into a 100 Mbps kind of connection, which means you'll be able to stream 4K content real time. You will be able to play games without any latency. You'll be able to do tons of things, and you will have access to content which is not being spoken about much. But Jio Fiber, for instance, gives you a full playlist of stuff that you can stream for free.
Yeah, and I think we've also seen like churnings of that, because ACT has been fairly aggressive this year as well. They've expanded to a lot more cities. Both ACT and Airtel have been slashing
and I think
prices,
Airtel Fiber is also
improving their speeds. In fact, Airtel Fiber has also been rolled out in certain, I think Delhi, they are already offering some plans and much better deals for consumers, which was not possible. I think just 4 years back, you were grateful if you got 2 Mbps and you were just paying 1200.
So this is the actual Jio impact.
Yeah, and so they are in fact already anticipating Jio Fiber rolling out in a big way. So we are going to see a lot of that change as well. And in fact, Ookla speed tests have shown that India has improved on the fixed broadband better than mobile internet.
Has improved the most among all
almost
countries.
Almost 50%.
50% jump.
Yeah.
But it's still way down on the list. Huh?
Yeah, we're still at around an average of
111 I think on the list.
23 Mbps speeds, which is not great.
Yeah.
But we are
improving. It's a huge improvement in 1 year.
And in fact, broadband improving, fixed broadband improving means much better for your mobile networks as well, because again, it takes load off that.
Yeah. And the other thing that we need to look at is how devices are going to change. For the first time, I think in many years, smartphone form factor will change because you have bendable, foldable phones coming to you. What that means to you is maybe zilch, because you're not. I don't know what benefit you're going to have from a bendable or a foldable phone. These form factors will come in 2019 for sure, and we know that.
The extra display, in fact, Vivo
the second screen or the back screen,
they have a screen at the back, and
or a slide out screen, like a 2-screen kind of experience. So all of this, I don't know what problem they're solving, but these are going to come to you, and this will be after a long time that you are getting a different form factor for a smartphone.
Yeah, and Samsung has already showcased that Galaxy F or Galaxy X, as some are calling it, and it's supposed to launch in 2019. In fact, they're already planning to produce around 1 million units in 2019, which is pretty ambitious because it's going to be a new form factor.
It's going to be amazingly expensive.
And it's going to start at $1,700. But in fact, research firms expect that this will the pricing will come down by 2022,
and
more firms will in fact launch these foldable phones, because again we've seen the supply chain tends to move towards this. You'll have new battery technology, you'll have new display technology, because all of that will have to be, you know, compatible with the foldable form factor.
And operating systems will have to change drastically. And even with display, how do you factor in a hole in your display? That's a huge challenge for companies, right? Like from a software perspective, because you have to rewrite the software completely.
Yeah, and Android just started supporting Notch with Android Pie, and it'll have to change for these new kind of displays. So we'll have to wait and watch how that goes.
So in smartphone industry, I don't think we can call it innovation, but this is going to happen. I don't know whether it's going to really improve lives for smartphone users, but yeah, this is something that you can be sure is going to come your way in 2019.
Let's finally just also quickly talk about laptops. Where do you see that going? We've seen the iPad Pro launch this year, and that's basically a computer. You don't need a laptop. And then we saw the MacBook Air, which is by far their most popular device, getting a complete upgrade. So where do you see that future for laptops?
Interestingly, I've reviewed the iPad Pro as well as the new MacBook Air. The iPad Pro is, let's say, 30,000 rupees cheaper than the MacBook Air, and functionality for the two are the same, and it's actually a bit lighter to carry the iPad Pro even with the keypad. So I don't know why I need to carry a MacBook Air, especially when it's so expensive. I'd rather go for the iPad Pro, which is a great writing device. It's also a very creative device because of the new improved Apple Pencil. So I'm seeing a bit of a cannibalization that's going to happen. I think in the tablet space, it's only Apple right now. Samsung is back with the S4, but I don't think it will be anywhere near the iPad just on popularity, on availability. But the challenge to an entry level or a size 0 laptop is now more real than ever before.
We also saw that, you know, laptops, one thing, the trend that we've seen is that they've gotten thinner, they've gotten more powerful, but they've also gotten much more expensive in India. In fact, if you want to get those premium specs, be ready to pay a high price. The Surface, when it launched, even though it was a year old, the prices was right up there.
No, I have a slightly different worldview on that in the past couple of months, right? If you're going to pay 1,20,000 for an iPhone, why can't we pay 1 lakh for a top-end laptop, right? So look at it that way. You know, earlier a laptop would cost way more than a smartphone. Now your top-end smartphones cost way more than a top-end laptop. So look at it that way. Maybe it's getting into a slightly muddled space on pricing.
Yeah, but I would also say that personally for me, if somebody's investing in a laptop, I say laptop is a much longer investment. I always tell people, do not,
don't cut back on the price and
get the highest specs, get the good specifications, because you're going to use this for much longer time. Phones, people can upgrade, and you know, sometimes you drop them. A lot of people drop them.
Especially with the Windows devices. Now, I've had this feeling in the past couple of years, unless you spend a lot of money, get a high-end device, your experience is not going to be that great with Windows 10. I think it might change a bit that Microsoft is bringing in Surface Go at around 40K. So I don't know how, I've not used it, I don't know if that experience is great, but otherwise on the other OEMs, the experience is not that great with a 30,000, 40,000 device. If you're a college student, fine. If you are somebody in a low management kind of job in a company, fine, but for others, it's not good enough.
I absolutely agree. We've reviewed the high-end laptops this year, like Dell XPS 13, Lenovo's high-end series, and those just stand out in terms of the kind of power that they have to offer, whereas the moment you go into a laptop which has an
30, 40,
i5 or a 30, it's like, you know, you're struggling with speed, and people do need that, especially from a work perspective.
So 2019 is an exciting year, but don't expect world-changing, cutting-edge innovation happening in the space of technology. It's going to be another year in which technology is going to pretty much on autopilot, but let's hope something comes along that changes our lives. Let's wait for that disruptor.